Good evening. It is 5:02 PM and I call this public meeting to order. I want to thank everyone who is joining us this evening. If you want to make a public comment on the items listed under closed session agenda, please listen carefully to the directions provided by the clerk. Mrs.
Public-
Martinez,
Public hearing for visitors who wish to address the board on closed session items. 15 minutes of this portion of the meeting are reserved for members of the public to address the board on closed session items. Speakers seeking to comment on other items are requested to make those comments during the public comment portion of the meeting at 6:30 PM. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. The school board is prohibited by law from taking action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda, and no adverse conclusion should be drawn if the school board does not respond to public comment at this time. If you wish to address the board on an item included in this section of the agenda, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided in writing will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have participants who wish to address the board at this time. President Salazar, we do not have comments submitted in writing for this portion of the meeting.
thank you, Mrs. Martinez. Seeing none, hearing none, I close the public hearing and adjourn to closed session to discuss items 1A through 1D. The board will reconvene at the conclusion of the closed session. Good evening. It is 6:55 PM and I call this regular meeting to order. Welcome to tonight's board meeting. I would like to welcome the media and everyone joining us in person and via Zoom. If you would like to make a public comment, please listen carefully to the directions provided by the clerk at the opening of each public comment period during the meeting. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board and staff. I'd like to remind us all of our vision and our mission this evening. Our vision states that Madera Unified will set the standard for hard work, creativity, and resiliency with a fearless drive to continuously improve. And our mission statement says that Madera Unified will, that we're committed to creating and sustaining a culture enabling Madera Unified students to experience an unparalleled educational journey that is intellectually, socially, and personally transformative. That's the nature of our work this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Roll call. At this time, I ask everyone joining this meeting to please silence any electronic devices that are not linked to this meeting. Mrs. Martinez, please call the roll.
Trustee Garza,
Here.
trustee Taha,
Here.
trustee Ahmad,
Here.
trustee Cortez,
Here.
trustee Dybert,
Here.
trustee Fleek,
Here.
trustee Seibert,
Here.
clerk Mendoza,
Here.
President Salazar.
Here. Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Trustee Cortez, would you please lead us in the flag salute?
Everybody please stand. Ready, salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Thank you, Trustee Cortez. Tonight's scheduled invocation will be provided by Reverend Neely of Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. I invite Reverend Neely to the podium.
Let us bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for bringing us together, Lord. And I ask you, Lord, that you bless the teachers, Lord, and the all staffing of the Madera Unified School District, Lord. You bless them, keep them, and strengthen them, Lord. I also ask you, Lord, that you bless us and give us traveling graces, Lord, as we depart from here, Lord. In your precious name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Neely. Closed session reportable actions. Superintendent Lyle, I'm sorry.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, we have no reportable actions this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Item number 5, adoption of the agenda. Mrs. Martinez.
Action to add or delete items from any portion of the agenda or to discuss any consent agenda items must be taken prior to adoption of the agenda.
Superintendent Lau, does staff have items to add or remove from the agenda?
We do not this evening, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent. Trustees, do you have items to add or delete from the agenda? Trustees, do I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented? Please state your name when you make a motion and second the motion.
Clerk Windows, I move to approve or, or adopt the agenda as presented.
Trustee Dybert, I second that motion.
Okay, thank you. It has been moved by Clerk Mendoza and second by Trustee Diber to adopt the agenda as presented. Mrs. Martinez, please pull the board for the record.
Trustee Garza,
Yes.
trustee Taha,
Yes.
trustee Ahmad,
Yes.
trustee Cortez,
Yes.
trustee Dybert,
Yes.
trustee Fleek,
Yes.
trustee Seibert,
Yes.
clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
president Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar, I counted 9 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 0 absents. 2 of the votes were preferential.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Item number 6, Student Board Representative Report. Vanessa Lyra Martinez of Madera South High School and Melaine Miranda Torres of Torres High School. I invite Vanessa Lyra Martinez to present the Madera South High School Student Representative Report.
Good evening, Board President Salazar, Superintendent Lyle, Clerk Mendoza, all board members and community members. My name is Vanessa Martinez Lira, and I am a senior at MSHS. I will be presenting information on behalf of Madera South High School. Since our last report, the Stallions celebrated a candy theme home sweet homecoming. Students attended a pool party movie night to kick off the week. More than 12 clubs and organizations created skits, with the drama club winning for the second year in a row at Skit Night. The parade featured over 30 groups and 400 students, and the football game was kicked off with a spirit walk, crowning our royalty at halftime and a staff champion recognition. To end the week, we had our HOCO dance directly after the game. Ag Literacy Day. Our FFA welcomed over 1,600 elementary students to the farm to go through stations, learning all about an orange's journey, planting their own pumpkin seeds, and play games. They also got to experience a fun petting zoo. Rodeo Rivalry Week. We had a fun rivalry week with the Toros. The Stallion Stampede running rally kicked off the week with our ASB leaders, FFA, BSU, Fashion Club, girls wrestling team, and freshman class all coming together and hyping up our students with music, dancing throughout the hallways. The staff fought hard in the annual kickball match and ultimately lost by 1 point. And football game was fun for the students to cheer on our Stallions. Boo Fest. Our annual Boo Fest event brought over 30 clubs and organizations together to set up Halloween-themed booths for the Alpha Elementary K through 3rd graders. This is always one of our Stallions' favorite events, and it's fun interacting with our future Stallions. FFA National Proficiency Awards. Our FFA had some huge wins at nationals this year. Morelia Santana was named the 2023 national champion in the Equine Science Placement Proficiency. Juan Rojas also placed the specialty animal production, and the Meats TAM received the Gold Team Award. MLK Leadership Collab. Some of our ASB leadership students were invited to teach MLK leadership students tips and tricks for setting up balloon structures and help them learn a little bit about rally decor. The Stallions leaders will be visiting the feeder schools regularly to help mentor the leadership class and student council and plan monthly lunchtime activities to bring to the Jaguars. HOSA Healthcare Event. HOSA Week, UC San Francisco Conference happened. Actually can't remember. 3 medical students came to Madera South to speak with students about the medical field and how their experiences. Some clubs and organizations that came to present to the students were SWAT, Student Workings Against Tobacco, Camarena Health, Madera Community College, Fresno State CASA Program, and Heinz Hospice Circle of Friends. The Stallions Palm, first place at USA Regionals. We are proud of the Stallions Palm team received first place at USA Regionals at Clovis North, which also qualified them to nationals in February in Anaheim. Stallions Cross Country. Madera South Cross Country placed first in the NYL Championships at Woodward Park. They will compete in D1 at Woodward Park for the section championships on Thursday. Valerie Jimenez, picture on the left, was the individual NYL championship. She ran an 18.48 PR. Stallions Tennis. Madera South High School girls tennis won the NYL for the second consecutive year with a 13-1 league record. They had 4 girls qualified to the area championships and 2 advanced to the second round. Stallion coaches. Tammy Britton and Colleen Spraggins, 2 MSHS gymnastic coaches who have coached a combined total years well over 50, are retiring from coaching at Madera South and Madera Unified School District. We thank them for the committed years of service to our kids. They taught the wisdom to not only be successful athletes, but also successful people. They will be missed. Our upcoming events. We are so excited for some of our upcoming events this winter season. We are continuing to spread joy to our stallions with the 2nd annual Stanley Season of Giving. This year, we are excited to add a movie night and holiday carnival and light display. The Stanley Season of Giving Carnival is open to the community and will feature caroling from MSHS Choir, free photos with Santa or a snowman for families provided by Yearbook, games and hot chocolate stations provided by various clubs and organizations, as well as partnerships with Madera Food Bank to provide meals that families can pick up that evening. Tomorrow, November 15, our ASB leaders will be doing a district day of service. On December 4th through the December 20th will be Stanley Season of Giving Wish Granting. Stanley Season of Giving Holiday Movie Night will take place on December 13th of 2023. Stanley Season of Giving Holiday Carnival will happen December 15, 2023. Purple Palooza Week and Winter Rally will happen January 22nd, 2024 and January 26th, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. I invite Melaine Miranda to present the Torres High School Student Representative Report.
Good evening, Madera Unified School District Board President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board. I am Melanie Miranda here with the Toro report. Next slide, please. To help with the October stress, ASB hosted our first annual Staffers Students Week to give them an opportunity to connect outside of the classroom in friendly competitions. This year, staff and students were able to compete in trivia, dodgeball, and a spicy noodle eating competition. Our Toro staff was victorious this year, winning the majority of our competitions. Next slide, please. On October 16th, Torres ASB leadership traveled to Hanford for the CATA Area C Student Leadership Conference. We had the opportunity to hear from guest speakers, network with student leaders from around the valley, and attend workshops. This conference was extra special because our ASB Vice President and Castle State Board Media Director, Omar Alvarez, debuted his workshop on perception. We are incredibly proud of Omar and all the work he is doing for student activities at the state level. Next slide, please. The 2023 Rodeo Bowl was definitely one to remember. We came together with Madera South High School ASB as a host Combined Spirit Week, for which we tracked dress-up days, points each day to see who could bring the most spirit. 2023 also brought the return of staff rivalry kickball game, lunch rally, and of course, the big game. I am excited to report that Torres has a clean sweep of all activities throughout the week. We even keeping the rodeo trophy for the second year in a row. Next slide, please. For Halloween, a few members of our Toro ASB leadership program traveled to Nishimoto to welcome the Hawks to school and give them some Halloween. We even had the opportunity to be guest judges for the costume contest. Tony the Toro was even in attendance in his banana costume. The week before, we also supported our Hawk family by volunteering at their annual jogathon, tracking laps, cheering on students, and even keeping up morale by running alongside students. We love supporting our future Toros. Halloween is always a ton of fun at THS. Both students and staff got in on the fun. Our social science department was the winner of this year's staff competition with their Men in Black inspired costumes. We also saw the return of our ASB Haunted House and Halloween movie night. Next slide, please. This year, our World Languages department brought Dia de los Muertos to campus in a major way. They brought back their ofrenda project where students created shoebox ofrendas, which were displayed in the quad. They also hosted their annual door decorating competition where staff members had the opportunity to create Dia de los Muertos themed door displays for prizes and bragging rights. Next slide, please. In honor of our Veterans Day, we acknowledged our staff members that have served in the military. Each teacher received a poster thanking them for their service, as well as a gift basket including a few of their favorite snacks. Next slide, please. This month, Theater Arts and Videography collaborated on a film project to enter into the Swede Festival Suite. Swede Festival is an amateur film festival in which people of all ages create mini versions of blockbuster hits. Torres Theater Company and Toro Network Television will have their submission of the menu featured in the 23rd season of Swede Fest in Fresno, November 17th at the Tower Theater. Next slide, please. Torres Choir and Best program traveled to Fresno City College for their festival of the season. Our singers performed really well and got the compliment that our students are bringing out the very best that humanity has to offer. Next slide, please. The 109 members of Toro Marching Band and Color Guard have attended their first 2 field show competitions in their history. They saw a 5-point growth in between those shows and have done amazing jobs in their very first year. Next slide, please. Over the weekend, Madtown Robotics hosted their 16th annual robotics competition in the Torres High School gym. 32 schools and 50 robots from all over the state traveled to Madera to compete. We're so excited to see what this year's robotics season brings. Next slide, please. The fall season has been one to remember for Toro Athletics. Our tennis team finished the season with a record of 12-7 and 10-4 in league play. We had one of our doubles team qualify for the area championships. The team went 1-1 on the day with a big win over Justin Garza. Just last week, Torres Boys Cross Country secured this year's North Yosemite League Championship, beating out a number of teams from around the valley. Torres football beat Coalinga High School last Thursday to advance to round 3 of CIF playoffs. We will be traveling to Shafter this Friday to take on the Generals. Next slide, please. Here are upcoming events. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Miranda. Student Board Member Information and Report, Mia Garza of Alternative Education and Suera Waritaja of Madera High School. Trustee Garza, I invite you to share your report with the board, please.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, Trustee Superintendent Lyle, and distinguished guests. Recently, Alternative Ed had their very first student voice meeting. We discussed important topics such as upcoming events and areas of growth. Freeman plans to have a winter formal in December and has been planning possible fundraisers.
Thank you, Trustee Garza. Trustee Taja, I invite you to share your report with the board, please.
Thank you. Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, Superintendent Lyle, Board of Trustees, and members of the public. I hope you're all doing well today. I'd like to report that my alternative and I have held our first student voice meeting on October 17th. We managed to get a great amount of participation with attendance from most of the students who expressed interest in attending the meeting. Students were collaborative and vocal, and they provided us with a lot of feedback to build off of in improving the climate of our campus. The feedback was addressed with our principal, Mrs. Cosgrove, and we discussed possible solutions for the concerns. One of the concerns we are still working to address is that students felt there was a lack of celebration and recognition for Hispanic Heritage Month, and students would like to receive more district support in recognizing Hispanic heritage. Overall, the meeting turned out to be a success, and we plan to hold the next meeting sometime during the month of December. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, trustee Taha. Communications, student and staff recognition. The Madera minutes, Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, I'd like to invite you all to look at a video of some of our highlights of our outstanding activities these last several weeks.
Congratulations to Madera High's Lady Coyotes for winning the 2023 CIF Central Section Division III Girls Golf Championship on October 24th in Lemoore. This is Madera High's first ever Girls Golf Championship. The team defeated Wasco by 1 stroke, upholding the mantra that every stroke matters. Congratulations to head coach Gary Moran, assistant coach Roger Leon, and our Lady Coyotes, Kylie Sally, Isabel Alvarez, Gazelle Vasquez, Jolie Zamora, Jaden Cuevas, and Janae Medina. On October 26th, 31st, and November 2nd, the marching bands of Madera South High, Madera High, and Torres High School visited and rocked their respective elementary and middle schools with high-energy musical performances. The events aim to expose students to their Pyramids High School instrumental music programs and invite them to their band night event. Madera Band Night was another huge success for Madera Unified Bands. High schools presented their competition field shows for the community and were joined by their middle school musicians for some pop tunes in front of a packed stadium audience. Great job to all the bands involved. Madera Unified Personnel Commission held its annual Classified Employment Job Fair at the Workforce Assistance Center on November 8th. Over 150 potential candidates attended. MUSD Personnel Commission staff were available to discuss job openings and procedures. Congratulations to several Madera FFA students who won national awards at the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis, Indiana. Here are some of the highlights. Aurelia Vieira was announced as a 2023 National Champion Equine Placement Proficiency. Juan Rojas was recognized as a national finalist in the proficiency area of specialty animal production. Jonathan Spraggins was recognized as a national finalist in the proficiency area of environmental science. The meets team received a Gold Team Award and placed 9th in the nation. Oswaldo Montez, Kayla Fant, and Matthew Machado received gold individual awards, and Athena Giron received a silver award. Madera Unified is proud of all of you. Madera Unified held its annual Student Champion Hall of Fame and State of the District event at the Torres High School Theater on October 25th. The community event, emceed by Madera Linkage Foundation President Tim Boucher, featured many retired MUSD employees with outstanding past accomplishments who have significantly contributed to the lives of students in Madera. At the event, the foundation awarded over $10,000 worth of mini grants to different schools in the district. The event also included a speech by Superintendent Todd Lyle, who addressed the district and talked about Madera Unified students and the importance of having mentors who can see their full potential. Madera Unified hosted its 14th annual First Robotics Competition event called Madtown Throwdown on November 11th and 12th at Torres High School. The free and open community event included 29 robotic teams from throughout California and featured over 50 robots in the competition. According to coaches and mentors, the competition is crucial in preparing the Madtown 1323 team to defend their world title at the World Championships in Houston, Texas in April 2024. Congratulations to several school sites that won cross-country championships over the last several weeks. Desmond Middle School boys cross-country team won the Central Valley Athletic League Championship for the 4th time in a row. Madera South High School girls and Torres High School boys won the North Yosemite League Championship as well. On October 27th, over 500 student athletes in special education programming from across the valley participated in a soccer tournament run by the Special Olympics and hosted by Rio Vista Middle School. Over 20 students from Cesar Chavez Elementary took part in the event. The event encouraged special education students to understand the importance of working in a team environment to reach a common goal while getting out of their comfort zones. physically, mentally, and socially.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Public hearing for visitors who wish to speak on a subject not on the board agenda. Mrs. Martinez?
15 minutes of this portion of the meeting are reserved for members of the public to address the board on items not listed on the agenda and within jurisdiction of the school board. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. If the subject is an item on the agenda, the board president has the option of asking the speaker to hold the comment until that item is called. Comments on items listed as a public hearing on the agenda should be held until the hearing is opened. The school board is prohibited by law from taking action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda, and no adverse conclusion should be drawn if the school board does not respond to public comment at this time. If you wish to address the board on an item included in this section of the agenda, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided in writing will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have participants who wish to address the board at this time, and we do not have comments submitted in writing.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Seeing or hearing no others, I close the public hearing. Item number 9, information and reports. Future Farmers of America Organization update. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board, we have had an unbelievable year with Future Farmers of America. This chapter is over 100 years old, and I'm not sure that in all of that amount of time, they have had a year that matches this one. And I do feel like I've said that here year in and year out because the expectations continue to go higher and so do the levels of success. So with that, I'd like to introduce our Director of College and Career Readiness, Ms. Kristen McKenna, for this presentation. Ms. McKenna?
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, and Superintendent Lyle. My job tonight becomes very easy because I brought 2 students to do the speaking for me. And so the first portion of tonight's agenda, they're just going to kind of give an update on the chapter and then share some successes, and then I'll come up for a little award. So I'm going to invite Madera FFA President Marco Trevino and reporter Sade E. Madrez up to the podium.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, and Superintendent Lyle. My name is Sari Madriz, and I'm currently serving as this year's chapter reporter.
My name is Marco Trevino. I'm serving as this year's chapter president. We would like to introduce our chapter and its members' success through the year. Our chapter currently has 674 active members ranging from the 8th to college year. Our students attend multiple locations, including MTech, Madera South High School, Madera College, Greeley College, Fresno State, and Chico State.
FFA is built off of the 3-ring model. The 3-ring model is put in place to ensure the growth of our members personally and academically. We have the classroom introduction. The classroom introduction can be seen in our 7 CTE pathways that include ag mechanics and animal science and much more. We have our SAE or supervised agriculture experience, that our experiences related to agriculture that include animals, much more like plants, mechanics, internships, research, paid and unpaid opportunities, and much more. FFA leadership are opportunities to develop our members, just like officer positions, competitions, field trips, and community service.
Our chapter offers 7 different pathways, with ag mechanics being our largest due to its unique facility that we have on campus. A majority of our chapters are our chapter is unique because we have 68% of our members being male. Students can find all different classes that they need in their interests because of our unique opportunities and pathways.
Not only do we offer our CTE pathways, but members have the opportunity to go above and beyond to get career and college ready. Our chapter offers 4 different dual enrollment courses, being our fabrication, small engines, power mechanics, and ag leadership. We also offer 3 ROP courses, our fabrication, animal science, and small engines. Our program is more than lucky to have such a great facility on campus. Our farm has 15 different SAEs that we have that include many animals like horses, sheep, rabbits, steers, dairy heifers, and much more. But not only do we offer animal SAEs, we also offer our greenhouse, our cooperatives like our pumpkin patch and our corn cells that are all maintained by the students.
Recently, our chapter was named number 2 out of 350 chapters in the state of California. Due to our member engagement and involvement, student SAE projects. Our members also have the opportunity to attend different conferences around the state of California, including Made for Excellence, Advanced Leadership Conference, our Freshman Green Hand Leadership Conference, and Sacramento Leadership Conference. In our office, our members are given multiple opportunities to join leadership positions, such as our 8th grade Discovery Officers team, our freshman 9th grade team, becoming a chapter officer, and our very own sectional officer, Sarai Madris.
Our chapter loves to host monthly meetings for our members. Here, members are able to enjoy the activities and events we host for them, while also knowing what has and will be happening in our chapter. So far, we've had 3 different meetings, one of which is our Welcome Back Fiesta meeting, where we host our annual salsa contest, our piñata. We also have our dancing horses and tacos for the members to enjoy. Not only do we have chapter meetings, but we also have sectional meetings. And this includes the 13 other chapters in our section. We've had 2 different meetings so far, the first being Blackbeards, and our second being the Raise and How meeting. This year, we were lucky enough to partner with California FFA to host our Haunted 5K. Here, members of our school were able to sign up and run the 5K around the whole campus. Every member that participated had a California FFA t-shirt and a medal.
Our chapter has 3 main committees, student development being number 1. The Student Development Committee gives students the opportunity to help other members within our chapter grow their leadership skills. For example, this committee hosted our chapter leadership conference. In this conference, our members got to get engaged within FFA and learn the base leadership skills. Second is our Public Relations Committee. This committee works alongside our chapter reporter and historian, as well as the Madera Tribute and our communications department to help post on social media and highlight our chapter. The Community Service Committee has earned over 1,500 hours in community service. A recent task that they did was making blankets and donating them to the Valley Children's Hospital to help sick and ill children.
This year, we had a very successful CTE or Career Development Education, CDE teams. We had 5 teams placed on top 5 for state. Our meets evaluation team were state champions, earning them a spot at nationals. Small engines got 2nd place. Vine judging got 4th. Vine pruning got 5th. And the best informed green hand, or BIG, got 5th place.
65% of our members have an active SCE project within our program. If students are unable to have an SCE project at home, our campus offers multiple opportunities, such as our chickens cooperatives teams, where they get to raise chickens and sell eggs to the community, as well as our sheep cooperatives team. This team manages a herd of sheep and helps raising those sheep to later sell at our county fair. Our horse team consists of 2 horses, which students get to ride and train on, and later compete at our local fairs. Our crops cooperatives team raises pumpkins and corn and later sells them to the public, as well as host our pumpkin patch, which is on campus.
We have a few new SAE projects in our chapter this year, one of which is our campus beautification, where members go out and see where in our campus we need some landscaping done. Here they plant native plants and insects. Another thing we also have is our news broadcast, which is called Ag Action, where the historian and reporter get together every week and come up with a script to inform the members of what happened last week and will be happening this week. These videos are broadcasted every week during class, so our members are informed. We also are currently raising animals and getting them ready for our local county fairs, Chowchilla and Madera Fair at our campus.
SAEs bring many opportunities for our students. 5 of our students were named state champions and were awarded at the FFA State Conference. The project requirements are having a perfect AET record book, a 20-page application followed by an interview. The Star State Award recognizes the best project within the state. Madera FA was lucky to win 2 out of the 4. One of our members, Arturo Madriz, was ranked #1 member, was first in our members' history in Star State placement.
Our meets team won state, giving them a spot at nationals where they competed against 50 other teams. They received 9th overall and had received gold rank, which is the highest ranking. All of the individuals had placed: Oswaldo Montez getting gold, Caleb Fant receiving gold, Matthew Machado receiving gold, and Anita Giron receiving silver.
This year, 3 of our members were honored at as a national finalist for their SAE projects. Each state sends their state champions, and 4 out of 50 applicants were chosen. The 4 finalists were interviewed by industry professionals, and Morella Vieira was named national championship in equine science, which she continues to work at Rancho Aguilera at her stables. The SAE panel, an SAE panel is where students get to showcase their SAE projects in front of the public as well as judges. And Juan Rojas got the lovely opportunity to present his SAE project in bee management.
We had a total of 20 members receive their American degree. The American degree is the highest degree you can receive in FFA. There are multiple requirements, like you must be a graduate for 1 year, earn at least $10,000 in your SAE project, work 2,250 hours in your SAE project out of class, have a record of outstanding leadership, community involvement, and also receive a C or better in your ag classes, which are certified by the principal or superintendent. You also have to participate in at least 50 hours of community service with 3 or more organizations. Fun fact, our chapter has more degrees than 21 states. We are also recognized as a 2-star chapter nationally out of 3 stars. This is a process of an application our ag leadership students apply for, and it's based off of our student involvement and community involvement in our chapter.
We thank you for allowing us to present our chapter to you today.
We would like to give you a gift of appreciation along with our Stallion Spotlight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, thank you.
We have 2 student trustees.
Yeah, and there's, I think, one next, yeah.
Just before we move on, can we pause on the fact that we just heard that there are more American degrees earned by Madera FFA over time than how many states?
21, and that was this year, right, Julie? did this school year.
So I hope the trustees wrap their heads around that. Like, that's a return on investment that is like unbelievable at a national level. Like, that is incredible. So congratulations to the staff and the students for engineering that kind of success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so we've made it a tradition to bring to our school board state and national champions. So you've heard about her, I think, in the Madera Minutes and the Madera South Board Report and now, but Morelia, come on up and stand with me. So a little bit about, we heard that she won a national proficiency for equine science. So what does that mean? So when we talk about proficiencies or SAEs, those are things that happen outside of the school day. So in her 4 years at Madera South, she graduated last year, throughout high school, in addition to working or being in classes, taking dual enrollment, being an FFA officer, she also had a job working in equine placement. And so all of those hours outside of the school day, she had to keep in a record book. She had to keep profit and loss statements. She had to update journal entries and log all of that. And so the process to become a proficiency winner starts when the teacher and her submit an application. What have you learned from this? What are the strengths and weaknesses of your project? What have you mastered? They share the profit and losses and hours and all of these things. So first she had to compete against the 13 schools in our section. So West Side of 99, Chowchilla to Fresno. She won that. She goes on to the region, which is Bakersfield to Chowchilla. She wins that. Then for state, it gets a little bit more. We're no longer looking at record books and applications. She has to do an interview against other students. Obviously, she won that. And then to get to nationals, all 50 states have an equine person. They look at the record books again. They look at those applications again. All through this, her and Luxon are spending lots of hours in her classroom rewriting and writing and having 1 million people read these things. And the national organization, FFA, picks 4 national proficiency finalists. So they judge all 50 applications, they pick their top 4, and then she had to do an oral interview. And I heard from Ms. Luxon after interview that she did not think she did well, but obviously that was not the case because you're looking at the national champion for equine science placement. So Morelia is a freshman at Fresno State this year. And so usually, you know, we give cords for graduation, but that probably doesn't mean much at this point. So Ms. Tony and I bought you a little gift of appreciation that we hope you can wear at Fresno State. And we, on behalf of me and I'm sure the school board, congratulations on making us proud. And at this time, if there's any questions for the students or if we want to get a picture with Morelia in front of the board, we could do that.
Yeah, let's get a picture with the national champion.
Come down.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, Mendoza and Mr. Lyle or call them.
There's just one, it's all right, right? There's just one, congratulations.
Be the last night she wears that as a makeup.
Which one? So she went to Chavez Elementary School.
Thank you, Mrs. McKenna. Items 9B1, Human Resources, present the 2023 Williams Annual Report by Jim Sargent, Director of LCAP and Strategic Planning for the Madera County Superintendent of Schools. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board, I'd like to introduce to you tonight a distinguished guest of ours, Mr. Jim Sargent, who's a director for Madera County Superintendent of Schools. Jim is here for the annual Williams update for our board. It is required that this happens, and we really do appreciate our partnership with Mr. Sargent. So Jim, the floor is yours. Press the button so the mic close.
Nobody can empty a room like I can, so.
Apparently. Well, you know, I think Williams is just a little less breathtaking than FFA championships.
Thanks for scheduling it that way on.
Yeah,
this,
well, we
on
do
this
what we
agenda,
can.
So,
We do what we can.
all right, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, and Superintendent Lyle. My name is Jim Sargent. I'm here on behalf of Madera County. We're the agency that's responsible for conducting the Williams visits. You have seen, this has been around since 2004, so we had started in 2005. And it looks at three main areas, instructional materials, facilities, and teacher credentialing. You've seen the report and in more detail at the schools. There were 5 schools selected, Madera County, Parkwood, Alpha, Furman, and Martin Luther King, and Jefferson Middle Schools. So we conducted the visits at those schools. And just at the beginning, let me state that all the people who made the visits, and I'm here on behalf of Susan Pinnell, who coordinates that for the county office, and all of the people who conducted the visits were incredibly impressed and with the work of the teachers and the staff and administration to make sure that the schools were prepared and ready and for those visits. And for a long time, for the first 15 years of the Williams visits, they were identified by No Child Left Behind, and a lot of the same schools were visited over and over again. So this is just the second year that they actually had a new criteria that identified those 5 schools. So for a while, you could say you were prepared, but you'd done it for 10 straight years, and they had not designated anyone. And so that was something that was finally corrected. And so there is a new criteria, and those 5 schools were identified. And again, they did a fantastic job of preparing for that. My job is to publicly report what you've already seen, and that is that the findings of the visitation on those areas met the requirements. There were no lack of sufficient textbook and instructional materials in any of the sites that were visited, and any corrections, and there are always some corrections on facilities, were immediately taken care of and certified that they are in healthy and good conditions. And there were certainly no major areas of concern. And the teacher certifications, the same thing. So you've seen the report, and I'm just here to publicly report that to you and express on behalf of Madera County Office of Education that the excellent job that your staff did and administration did to get ready for that. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. But congratulations on the meeting that. Obviously, it comes out of a suit that is near to our hearts as far as providing equity to all students. And so congratulations on doing that. So, thank you.
Trustees, do we have any questions for Mr. Sargent? No? Okay, thank you. Union time. At this time, I invite the president of the union to address the board, Mr. Holder.
Board President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, board members, Superintendent Lyle. I'll be brief. I'd like to again say thank you to all of our veterans and their families for the sacrifices that they've done for us. Secondly, I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving coming up next week for the vacation. And lastly, I was busy for the last board meeting, so I wasn't able to make a comment, but my 3-year-old grandson and I were in front of the donut basket for the homecoming parade, and that was quite a parade. And I saw several of you, Board President Salazar. I think I saw you in a Jeep, and let me tell you, I think you need to get that Jeep because I thought I was watching Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, Board Member Fleek, I think I saw you in a vehicle as well, maybe. But with that said, again, thank you all. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving vacation.
Thank you, Mr. Holder. Any other union presidents? No, thank you. Item number 10, superintendent's time. Superintendent Lyle?
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, I have a few things to report. Our alternative ed held its first student voice meeting on October 26th. Trustee Garza, who's seated right to my right, for all of you out there in Zoom land, did a great job facilitating the meeting. The leadership students from Alt-Ed were in attendance and they were well prepared by the staff and they shared positive insights for their respective schools. The students were incredibly positive about their and supportive about the inspiration and the relationships that they build with the staff in Alt-Ed. So it was a real big win all the way around. We appreciate that level of partnership between the students and the staff. We had Band Blitz recently, and it was a huge success. And Richard Delgado, our district's students events supervisor, organized the first ever event. The purpose of the event was to expose elementary and middle school students to their Pyramid High School instrumental music programs. Each high school marching band visited their feeder schools to perform a brief concert, and compliments were shared and students were inspired to continue pursuing music education. I know my kid came home talking about it. Madera South versus Madera High versus Torres in the Rodeo Bowl took place on the 27th of October. And Madera South hosted with Stallion Class, and the Toros came away with another win during this impressive season. The Toros are still alive in the playoffs, and we wish them well against Shafter. Our special board meetings were held on November 2nd and 9th, and the first workshop detailed secondary student achievement reports, and the second provided a more detailed description of our multi-tiered system of supports. I want to thank the staff, some of them in this room and many of them out, hopefully at home relaxing tonight, for putting the extra time and energy into those reports and for helping our trustees understand the work that is being done on behalf of our students. Madera Unified's band night was held at Madera South Stadium on November 4th. The turnout was exceptional, and the event continues to draw a larger and larger crowd. Our bands are ready for competition season, and we have high hopes. BSU conference was held on November 9th at Madera Community College and was a resounding success. Students felt honored and valued and inspired as they learned about future educational opportunities, their own heritage, and financial literacy. Thank you to the BSU advisors, the MUSD Culture and Climate Department, and Mr. Marshall for organizing, and thank you to our trustees for investing in Black excellence. The Madtown Throwdown was held this last weekend at THS, and we want to thank the Toro and district staff that collaborated with our students and our parent leaders to make the event another successful weekend. The tradition is an excellent showcase of the best teams in the world, and they all come to Madera to compete against the world champs. I want to thank Tammy Britton and Colleen Spraggins for leading our student athletes in gymnastics all these years. As they retire and walk away, they should be acknowledged as our only gymnastics coaches in district history since we've competed at that level. With impressive wins and relationships that they've developed, we know that their influence will last a lifetime. And Tammy still has classes to teach, and Colleen still has divers to coach. So we thank them for their lasting contributions. And lastly, on behalf of hundreds of Maderans and Coyotes who played because of his sponsorship, I'd like to say farewell to Steve Frazier. Former president of the Coyote Athletic Boosters for many years, Steve recently passed away, and he was an incredible benefactor to Madera Unified and helped student athletes, boys and girls, make memories and identities that will last a lifetime. We honor his legacy and wish his family comfort during this difficult time, and he'll be remembered with true blue Coyote pride. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Mrs. Martinez?
Items listed under consent agenda are considered to be routine and are acted on by the Board of Trustees in one motion. There is no discussion of these items prior to the board votelets unless a member of the board or staff requests specific items to be considered and discussed separately and or removed from the consent agenda prior to the adoption of the agenda. It is understood that the administration recommends approval on all consent items. Each item on the consent agenda approved by the Board of Trustees shall be deemed to have been considered in full and adopted as recommended.
I now open the consent agenda for public comments. Mrs. Martinez?
If you wish to address the board on an item included in this section of the agenda, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided in writing will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have any participants who wish to address the board at this time, and we do not have comments submitted in writing.
Thank you, Mrs. Martinez. See no one come forward, I close public comment. I now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. On the consent agenda? Okay. So was it for public, during the public time? So, let us just vote on this consent agenda since we're in the middle of it. And then, we will let you speak. So, thank you, Ms. Martinez. See no one come forward, I close public comment. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. State your name when making the motion and when you second the motion. Trustees? Okay, I move myself the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Trustee Ahmad, second.
Thank you. It has been moved by myself, President Salazar, second by Trustee Ahmad, to approve this consent agenda. There are 3 resolutions listed in the consent agenda. Ms. Martinez, please pull the board for the record.
Trustee Garza,
Yes.
trustee Taha,
Yes.
trustee Ahmad,
Yes.
trustee Cortez,
Yes.
trustee Dybert,
Yes.
trustee Fleek,
Yes.
trustee Seibert,
Yes.
clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
President Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar accounted 9 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 0 absent. 2 of the votes were preferential.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Would you to the podium, please? You want to come up and speak over here on the podium? Turn on the. Push the button so that we could hear you. If you could say your name and where you, and what, I mean, you live in Madera, but what's your address, please? Your name?
My name and my address?
Yeah,
Um,
just say like your name and just.
city, okay. My name is Annabelle Sanchez. I live here in Madera. My address is 8143 Road 32 in Madera, California.
Thank you. It's okay, you could take your time. I know it gets nervous talking from the podium.
I got it. I have been a parent at Eastern Arcola for 8 years. I have an 8th grader, a 5th grader, and a kindergartner. I am here to speak on my situation, on the situation my kids and I are facing. My son's 5th grade teacher, Elizabeth Sanchez, denied my parent conference on October 18th at 2:45. To this day, I have not received any explanation from Mrs. Sanchez or Mrs. G. Not a word. I let a teacher they sent out know Mr. Carrasco told me to go and attend my conference in person. Both Mrs. Sanchez and Mrs. G did not seem to care. Conferences are student-led. So my son and I did not understand what was going on. If Mrs. Sanchez wanted to do a phone conference that week, she would have sent the student-led package ahead of time, which she did not do. This same teacher, Mrs. Sanchez, called my daughter lazy and unathletic. This teacher teased my daughter with a plate of Panda Express. Mrs. G had catered for her staff sometime in September. She told my daughter, "I bet you want this plate, huh, Caro?" And put the plate in my daughter's face. I was not aware of bringing this up here. I would just call the district and let them handle it. A lot of things at Eastern Arcola are not done right since I can remember, Parent Club being one of them. Till this day, I had not seen not one receipt, one bank statement, or anything since I came on October 4th. There are no apologies, no accountability, and no responsibility for their staff's actions. We need change at Eastern Arcola. 10 years of the same inequality has to change. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 12, new business. Item 12A1, educational service. Present and discuss the 23-24 school plans for student achievement.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, we have Associate Superintendent Cheryl Sissel here to introduce this item. Ms. Sissel, if you would, please.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, Superintendent Lyle. Tonight, myself and Director Johnny Gonzalez are going to address two parts to the presentation tonight. One is, this is a first read for all of our school plans for student achievement, but there's some information that I felt like was pertinent to share prior to Director Gonzalez taking you through the process that took part this year. So as a couple reminders, and Frank, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. The SIPSA process to revise and realign, there's California Ed Code that says school districts and county superintendents and superintendents must review the LCAP and school plans to ensure that the two plans are consistent. Using an integrated approach to planning ensures a consistent alignment between the LCAP and the school plans. So last year, when my first year being responsible and leading the LCAP work in the district, I was at a training at McSauce with Jim Sargent, and it was brought up that our LCAP and our SIPSAs should be aligned. And at that point, I came back and I spoke to Director Gonzalez, and we uncovered that they were not aligned. In fact, our SIPSA template that our principals had been using, they'd been using for 5 years, and it was aligned to the previous LCAP. So we realized in probably October or November of last year that we needed to revise the SIPSA template. So we recognized that we had to do some realignment. Next slide, please. As a reminder, here's what goes in the school plan for student achievement. Okay, it's a document that represents a school cycle of continuous improvement of student achievement. The annual process of developing, reviewing, and updating the SIPSA includes a comprehensive review of data and the development of actions necessary to achieve school goals. So in our SIPSAs, you'll see there's educational partner involvement for our principals that usually at a minimum includes their ELAC committee and their school site council. Obviously, there's other ways to solicit engagement from their school community. The SIPSAs have goals to improve student outcomes, including addressing the needs of specific student groups. There's strategies, actions, and services that are called out in each plan. And then, of course, there's the budget, which is their proposed expenditures. Next slide, please. This is just a little bit of information. I know in education, we love a good acronym. And so all throughout the SIPSA, as you all are reviewing them, you'll see a number of acronyms. So I listed this in the presentation so you have it as a reference. I know many of you are fairly familiar with all of these, but if you're not, there's the acronyms that you may or may not see called out throughout the SIPSA. So the next slide is one of the things. So as we dove into this work on aligning our SIPSA template and our LCAP, we set out to identify what the similarities were between the two plans. So if you remember our LCAP, which I know many of you have looked at multiple times, and then you have now seen the SIPSAs that were presented for a first read, you'll notice that in both plans, there's a need for engagement. So the expectation is that educational partners are part of the planning and development through meaningful engagement, which is annual and ongoing. So for our school sites and the SIPSA, that looks like work through ELAC and school site council. For us at the district level, we're talking about DLAC, we're talking about the PAC and the many community meetings that we held. Both of the plans also need to have measurable outcomes. So the measurable outcomes identify the metrics and the state indicators that the LEA or the school will use as a means of evaluating progress towards accomplishing the goal. Another component that is similar in both of the documents that you'll see is in the LCAP, we call them actions under the goal, but in the SIPSA, they call them strategies, but they're essentially referring to the same thing. The actions or the strategies are designed to support the improvement needed to achieve the goal. And both documents have goals. Our current LCAP has 6 goals. Our newly revised SIPSA now has 5. We did not add the 6th and final goal because it is more operational in nature.
Quick question.
Yep.
So where are they called actions and where are they called strategies again?
So the state calls in the LCAP, they refer to under each goal, they're called actions. And in the SIPSA, under each goal, they refer to them as strategies. But when you read through the documents, they're the main action that you use to achieve your goals. Okay, they both have goals. Okay, the goal includes the goal statement, the identified need, it has the measurable outcomes, and then underneath the goal is where you see your planned actions or strategies, depending on what plan you're looking at. Under the area identified needs, so both of the plans require either the school site for the SIPSA or the district for the LCAP to identify through a process of continuous improvement to provide the rationale for why a particular goal is created. So as our principals write their SIPSAs, they obviously evaluate their metrics at their school site. They look at their panorama data to look at culture and climate. They have a number of different metrics that principals use when they're writing their SIPSA. With our LCAP, we look at a number of metrics. It's just one's looking at a district level, one's looking more at a school site level. And then everybody's favorite part, mine especially, is the analysis portion of the document. So in the LCAP, we have to analyze through 4 questions each of the actions. Through this in the SIPSA, they also have to do an analysis. And ultimately, the reason for the analysis is you have to come back and look at data, look at what your goal was, and identify, was it effective? Because eventually you're going to ask yourself, am I going to fund this again or am I not? So for our principals, each of their strategies, they have to go through and do an analysis on, did they meet their goal? Was the outcome what they expected? So on and so forth. So the principals go through that process every year when they are doing the goal analysis in their SIPSAs, similar to what we do in the LCAP. There's a couple differences just to be aware of. The first difference is, again, the LCAP is a state requirement. SIPSA is a federal requirement. For the LCAP, I've already stated this, but I'll state it again. The scope is LEA level, so that the LCAP is written at a district level. The SIPSA is written at a school level, so it's specific to a school site. And then the time frame for each plan, as you guys know, the LCAP is adopted and revised annually, or reviewed and revised annually, but when it's adopted, it's a 3-year plan that's written, whereas the SIPSA is a school site planning document and has a 1-year term. So LCAP 3 years, reviewed annually, SIPSA rewritten annually, reviewed annually. The common goal is that they're both there to help us as a district hopefully improve student and school outcomes. So before I turn the microphone over to Director Gonzalez, because he's going to take you through sort of our timeline for when we started the revision work to today when we get to our first read. I just wanted to make sure that before we move forward, there's full transparency that the SIPSA template and the LCAP template could have and probably should have been revised earlier. We recognized it last year that it wasn't, and so that complicated our process just a little bit. And I have really appreciated working with the director and the principals, because this has been a significant amount of work for them to complete these plans this past year. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Director Gonzalez and let him take you through the timeline, and then he's going to take you through kind of the actual process that we worked closely with principals on.
Thank you very much for having me here. President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, trustees, Superintendent Lyle, thank you very much, boss. Just the way Assistant Superintendent Cecil said, to be clearly transparent, in last fall, we found out that the alignment was not there between the SIPSAs and the LCAP, so we made a plan to rectify this situation. So we took steps in September of 2023 to go ahead and look at the template and align it with our goals and strategies / actions specifically. So also what was going on at the same time is that we have to apply for funds to fund the LCAP, the SIPSA, which are the consolidated application. So that process was 5 months late. So if we don't have the money, we don't have the information to go ahead and go and complete our SIPSAs. That was just something that compounded the timeline for our SIPSAs. This is the second year that actually happens also. So we get the funding in September, we turn it in October, and then we start developing the programs as we get the funding. And in November, the principals sit down, revise, and develop the template. And we sit down and we look very closely at the different goals, because the previous template had four goals, and this template that we have has 5 goals. So we had to make some rearrangements for this. So then we are going to bring this to discussion for our first read today, and then we'll bring it back for our second reading on December. So we're going to go over the next slide, Mr. Guillen. We're going to talk about the process that we went through with the principals. Now, first, we developed a crosswalk. Mr. Guillen, can you please click on the link? So this crosswalk shows us what we have for the new SIPSA template and the old SIPSA template. Like I said, you can see that we have 5 different goals, and then we have the 4 goals that we had here. Now, the first goal for the new SIPSA template provides early support for children and for families before school. Now, that is not applicable to our SIPSA, because Title I funds can only be spent for children between the ages of 5 and 17. So you'll see that there is no actions or strategies in goal number 1, and there is no money allocated towards that goal. Okay. Number 2. So goal number 2 demonstrates equality before equity, providing resources based on student needs. And on the previous SIPSA, we had safe and caring, respectful environments, which had to do with climate and culture.
Excuse me, trustee,
Yes.
director, why don't we have this presentation so we can follow you? I don't have it. We don't have that.
Oh, the link, I
We
apologize.
have what you said, but not this to follow his.
So I did not attach the link. This was for the, so I didn't attach it.
It's just because it's a change, it's hard for us to follow you, what you're talking about. After a while, it becomes gibberish, to be honest. You know, because it'd be good till we had it, so we could follow what you're saying. Thank you.
I apologize. And then, so the things that we could just move over from one template to the other would be the measurable outcomes, PBIS, second step, character counts, intervention, RTI, and supplemental resources that we could move over from one to the other. For goal number 3, we provide high quality education with alignment to curriculum and teaching. Now, this is more aligned towards the old goal number 1 that we had for our SIPSAs, which was strong core academic programs, which focused in ELA, ELD, and in math. So we were able to align more goal number 1 of the old SIPSA with goal number 3 of the new LCAP and SIPSA template. Then we had goal number 4, which is recruit and retain highly qualified staff. That really was not applicable. The only thing, but you'll see some schools actually did utilize this, and they utilized it in extra time and supplemental, subs for our teachers. And lastly, we have goal number 5, which was incentives. With our Title I, we're not allowed to give out incentives. That's gift of public funds, but we are able to utilize it for outside services and contractors to motivate our students and also our staff members. So that was we utilized this to make sure that everything was crossed over correctly from one template to the other. So now, having said that, this is like Assistant Superintendent Sissel said, this is a 1-year fix. So this is for this year, we're going to have it. Next year, there'll be a different template that was actually approved by the state last Thursday. So we're going to utilize that LCAP template to be our new SIPSA template, and we're going to utilize that for the plan for 24-25. And that is pretty much in a nutshell what we did to align the two.
Why doesn't the state give you the template?
Good question. What's called local control. So the state adopts an LCAP template. And the LCAP template that is adopted allows for districts to identify, a specific number of goals and then actions beneath. So when we adopted our current LCAP that's in the 3rd year cycle, it was written with 6 goals. The previous LCAP had a document with 4 goals. So the SIPSA template that our principals had been working off of was those 4 goals were still aligned to the 4 goals from the previous LCAP. So as the state, the state does develop the template. We're the ones who identify as a district through all of the engagement work that we do and the partnership work and looking at the needs of the district. We come up with our goals and our actions. What Ed Code says is that they have to align. And so once we have the LCAP, when it transitioned from the previous version to this one, it went from 4 goals to 6 goals. We should have updated the SIPSA template, which I think would have been in 2021, and that wasn't done. So we had, again, I was at a training with Jim Sargent, so he could help me learn how to navigate the LCAP, and this came up. We also had some of our high schools that are going through either WASC mid-year review or WASC accreditation, and their lead WASC evaluator, that's one of the things they look for. They look right at the high school's SIPSA and they look at the district's LCAP and look to see that they're aligned. So we recognized the need to do it in the spring of last year at a principals meeting. Director Gonzalez and I shared this information. It's challenging because this is not an easy document. I mean, you guys have them, you're looking at each principal has to go through that. It's like a miniature LCAP essentially. And so it is challenging and a bit frustrating, I know, for them, because we're going to adopt a new LCAP, which means we're going to adopt a new SIPSA template. So this is a 1-year fix, but I just, we talked in executive cabinet. It didn't make sense to not fix it. So we went through the process. You now have SIPSAs that are, I feel confident, are a more accurate representation of the work that's happening at the school sites. The principals have put significant amount of time. Director Gonzalez has put a significant amount of time with them. And, I recognize it came later than we had anticipated, but after the first run and after we looked at them, we identified errors, and it didn't seem responsible to bring information forward that was incorrect. So we went back, we made the corrections, and what you'll see now, and On Zoom, with the exception, I think we have two principals in the room, but on Zoom is the majority of the principals. So sort of the last piece of this is Director Gonzalez and I can answer any additional questions that you might have on the process itself. Obviously, principals are available to answer questions that you may have on the plans.
And we're happy to make appointments for you to come in if you have real specific concerns or questions or feedback that you'd like to give. We can set those up in small groups or individually as you like. But we don't expect for on a first glance and a first read that you have everything already determined. I will tell you that we are the county superintendents, and there's only 52 counties, I think there are, the 52 county superintendents. And there are the county superintendents and district superintendents and our partners with CVEC and Capital Advisors and others are really asking the state to consider the death by 1,000 plans. Our principals are literally dealing with plan after plan after plan, none of them the same. Some of them can cross over, not all of them can, because it's a plan for a plan for a plan for a department and a department and a department and a committee after a committee. It is really at the point now where if you don't have a plan, it's almost like you don't have a department at the state level. So there's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of challenges that our leaders are up against. And it's one more reason why we've shared with some of our elected leaders in Sacramento that it is not necessarily a real thankful job to lead schools because you get the pleasure of death by 1,000 plans. So we do want them to be right. We want them to be accurate. We want them to respect the processes in place and to be quality leadership documents that make the district proud and bring together our school communities. But we want to share with you that these are a real challenge for our teams. And I appreciate the work that's been done behind the scenes to get them right. It hasn't been easy, but we appreciate it.
Thank you. Trustee Dybert, do you have any questions for staff?
Understanding, this is, I'm pretty sure you get all this information and we're just getting the book and we're trying to understand. So the way I understand, and you correct me because I don't want to walk around thinking correct. The LCAP is a plan to move forward, right? This is for this year or next year, whatever. The SIPSAS, when I met with you, you told me it's a compliance, kind of like a compliance document based on information that's from the past. Because I'm reading here, information for 2021 and what the expected outcome was for 21-22. Is that correct? Is this what we're getting on the SIPSAS information that has already happened? Information that the students have taken the test, how they perform, and all the different strategies and goals that already happened.
So you do, in order to analyze the goal, when you look at measurable outcomes, you're looking at data from the year previous, because you don't have, we don't have current year data as we're approving this SIPSA, we don't have data to look at for the current year. So they do look at previous years' information and data. I don't know which one you're looking at, so I can't speak to the plan directly.
So what's the purpose of the SIPSA? It's just a reporting document that we need to comply every year with the state? Because
It is a compliance document, so
our actions, our goals are on the LCAP, right? I want to understand that part. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe I need to sit down again with you and maybe explain that to
I
me.
think I might know what it is because there's something that's called also the SART, which is coming up next.
Oh,
So the school accountability report card, and I know we spoke about that.
that's the
last
one
meeting.
that I'm
So
confused.
that one
Okay.
we had spoken about with several of you. They said that that one is more of a compliance issue because that was part of the No Child Left Behind. When that was put into effect, it was to identify those schools that were below grade level API, AYP. Everybody remembers those days, right? If you were below 700, you were in that school. If you were over 700, you were considered a school of choice. So you were able to get your child and move them over to that school, and we would have to provide transportation.
Okay, so I'm confused. I'm sorry. So that's too
That's
many,
easy-
yeah, that's.
easy.
but I do want to make sure, because you,
So I'm trying to understand.
Right.
And I don't think, so then I haven't sat down with you, so I don't want to take a lot of the time. I'm probably gonna have to sit down and understand a little more. I'm gonna have to read. There's a lot of information that was given to us. And then I want to go over with you or with you, so.
Sure, and again, you are correct. The LCAP is a district level document. It's written and approved, and there's a lot, so to the point superintendent's making and what you're seeing, there's a lot of similarities. And Ed Code calls it out now, and they want them to be similar. But they are two separate documents. One is a state requirement, one's a federal requirement. So the SIPSs are a federal requirement. They are rewritten annually.
Yeah, it seems
Eh,
like a lot of work for our staff.
It-
I do see, I mean,
it's
and then,
nuts.
yeah, it is a lot, especially since when you hold those public meetings with the parents, the engagement, the principals are there too, working on the LCAP. So, yeah. So I'll sit
Correct.
down a little, I'll make an appointment with you, but thank you so much.
Trustee Cortez.
Yes, so I just wanted to share that I'm very pleased to see the NWA growth goals implemented in this report. I only got, to be honest with you guys, I only got to go through a couple of these, but I will be going through the rest. So I did notice that these are the ones that I did go through. These schools have been meeting their best growth targets. So that's very exciting to me to see that. And also, I hope that we can keep this momentum going. And as far as the parent engagement part of it, as you know, in your presentation, you indicated that we're doing community, and I with the the school sites, and at the district level with DLAC and whatnot. But I would like to see a little more parent engagement, individual parent engagement, not just community. Again, specifically with goal setting with the students and with the parents, engaging the parents, bringing those parents in to bring them on as partners, true partners. Thank you.
Trustee Ahmad.
Yeah, you mentioned that you have 5 goal for SIPSA and then 6 goal for LCAP. I didn't see that. I mean, can you provide that goal also or in that link also would be?
So
We can read those.
when in our LCAP, we do have 6 goals. The 6th goal is an operational goal specific to transportation, child nutrition. So we don't have to put that one in the SIPSA because it's not appropriate.
Okay.
And to be honest, I think if we were to, as we were to go back and think of it, we did put in goals 1 through 5 because they're dealing with early childhood education, they're dealing with equity before equality and dealing with high quality academic programs and then staffing. To be honest, if I had it to do over, because once we got into it, goal 1, you're going to see on all of your plans, goal 1 has $0. So it's there because it aligns to the LCAP, but it's not even relevant. So like if we had it to do over again, we might not even have added goal 1 in similar to goal 6. Goals 4 and 5, you're not going to see very many dollars allocated there. The majority of what you'll see as you start going through these documents, the majority of a school's budget is going to be in the new SIPSA in goal 2 and goal 3. It's just, I think, understanding now, just in the last 6 weeks, really going through this, I might have not put in goal 1 because Title I funds can't even be used for students unless, they're ages 5 through 17. And goal 1 in our LCAP is specific for 0 to 4-year-olds. So we could have pulled that out, but by the time we got into this, I just didn't feel like it was fair to revise the template and revise the process again. So I apologize because there's going to be some empty pages. Essentially, you're going to see the goal and the reason for the goal, but there's not going to be dollars allocated because it's not appropriate. So yes, you're correct. In the LCAP, there's 6. We took goal 6 out. So in your SIPSA, you see 5. And like I said, if we had a little more time, I might have, and if this were going to be our template that we were sticking with for a few more years, I would probably go back in and revise it. But because it's going to be new next year, we stuck with this template.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Trustee Fleet.
Yeah, I just want to thank Mr. Gonzalez. I was going to say director, but I get all the positions confused. But every time I've been confused, I just go talk to Johnny and he takes a lot of time to explain everything and puts it up on his TV and, shows,
Monitor.
Oh, monitor, okay. And then I'm not confused, and then I go home and I read a bunch of stuff, and then, you know, I'm confused again. But no, he does a really good job and takes the time, you know, doesn't try to rush me out. He's real good, and I thank you because I've talked to you a few times about. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Flake. Trustee Cyber.
Yeah, I appreciate the purpose and description part of this. Where you read the first, like the cover page and you get a feeling of what they're doing.
That's, the principals put a lot of hard work into that.
Yep.
And that's the narrative where it actually starts everything. There's a second section that we start. We start with the analysis, and then we go on with the purpose. And then that drives the goal, and it drives actually the actions because the goals are already set.
Trustee Clerk Mendoza.
Oh, no, nothing. Thank you.
I've already started reviewing them a little bit yesterday because I picked them up late in the afternoon. But you already answered the question on the goals for the 6 and the 5. And then like you were saying right now, my main thing I'm gonna be looking at is the review, the analysis by site. And then, where they see whether their goals were effective or not, and how do we need to pivot. And that's what I'll be looking at on all the school sites. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's all for all the questions. Thank you so much. Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Miscellaneous Board Member Committee and Information Reports. Trustees, this is an opportunity for you to provide the board updates on reports from committee meetings or events you have attended. I will start with Trustee Dybert.
Yes, President Salazar. Let's see. I have attended a few school events in the last 2 weeks, but I know for the sake of time, some of the events I've attended with 2 of my trustees to the right and maybe with some of you. So I'm gonna just report some. On November 6th, I attended the Madera High School School Site Council meeting. It was my first time attending a high school school site council meeting. And I noticed that in addition to administrators and teachers and parents, there were students. And I really like to have heard the students, how outspoken they were on the different topics that they discussed. I had to leave early and I couldn't hear all of the conversations. One of my highlights of last week was on November 8th. Area Assistant Superintendent Mr. Lopez invited me along with Trustee Cortez and Trustee Amat to visit some of the schools in his pyramid. And we visited Washington, TJ, and Madera High School. And I want to publicly thank the principals, Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Catalan, I think he's gone, and Mrs. Cosgrove for opening their doors to us. The teachers and the students were very excited and very welcoming to us. In some classrooms, the students demonstrated to us what they were learning at that time. It was very nice. They acted out for us. At Washington, Director Ochoa joined us along with site admins, and they led visits to the kindergarten, first grade, and I can't remember what the other classrooms we went to see on the heritage programs. We also observed PD in action of DLI teachers and from the tree school, as well as there were some Fresno State students. We also visited a 6th grade PLC meeting. We were so, oh my gosh, those teachers, they were like teenagers. And Mr. Hernandez said that they were only there for like 3 years or less. I think that was the older, but they were all excited. Very, very nice. So I want to reiterate my gratitude to Mr. Lopez. Thank you so much to Director Ochoa and to the principals for making this possible. I'm not going to report about TJ to give the other trustees to get their views on it. Also on Saturday, I attended the Madtown Throwdown. It was nice to see a lot of the different schools and the parents. It's really nice to bring the community together. And yesterday I attended the DLAC meeting and the staff presented data regarding newcomers and reclassification, and a presentation regarding the categorical funds was presented by Director Gonzalez. So yeah, very, very good experiences in the last 2 weeks. Thank you.
Trustee Cortez.
Yes, so as trustee Dawes shared, I also tagged along and thank you to AAS, Ms. Lopez for showing us around, taking us to the different school sites. So at Thomas Jefferson, we got to participate a little bit in a newcomer classroom. And so we got to practice our English learner skills with some of the newcomers. So that was a really good experience. And I want to thank Principal Catalan because he was, he was very honest in, when he was sharing with us, his challenges and his successes there at Thomas Jefferson. And so I really appreciated that. And as far as our visit to Madera High School, I want to thank Principal Cosgrove for hosting us there. And so we got to visit a few classrooms. One was the honors DLA class with where the teacher Jennifer Vakovich was having her students practice their public speaking in preparation for their graduate profile, I believe it was. Also, there was a teacher, the exploration of transportation teacher, Daniel Alanis, who was conducting class and showing kids about working on different types of brakes for different types of vehicles, and including diesels. And also I want to thank Chef Martin Sanchez for welcoming us to his Michelin-rated kitchen, where we got to test 3 different types of gravy prepared by the students. Biscuits and gravy, yes, and so 3 different types of consistencies, which was right on time because I broke my fast right there, and so it was very delicious. And after that, we made our way out. It was about lunchtime, and so we made a stop at the school cafeteria where we got to build our own burrito, and it was a very healthy meal that I felt really great, really good about. And so that was our day. And again, thank you, Area Assistant Lalo. I'm sorry, Lopez.
Thank you, trustee Cortez. Trustee Ahmad?
Yes, I would like to tag along with both of the trustees. It was a really good visit for me. For the first time I attended, I visited all these 3 schools, and I also enjoyed, and we went to different classrooms, and it was really informative for me attending the first time. And I would like to say thank you to Malala Lopez arranging that. Also, I attended on October 25th, and Madera Unified Linkage Foundation State of the District address. I would like to congratulate all the recipients for their hard work and dedication. Truly, they will all deserve it, this recognition. And also, I like to acknowledge that it was a really great speech by our superintendent. And I think you should be a motivated speaker. I really enjoyed your speech, and I think we are in a good hand with your supervision, and I see a bright future for our Madera Unified. Also, I attended November 1st and 2nd, I attended the Master in Governance course via Zoom. It was a lot of information. I'm learning a lot while I'm attending that. It was a good discussion. We have group discussions, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Ahmad. Trustee Fleek?
You have all been spared. I forgot to type my long list into my computer, but I attended quite a few things, and this is it's Native American Month. So I hope all of you, we're not just casino people. So there's a lot of good things you can go to. We have a lot of powwows. There's probably a powwow every weekend somewhere in California. And it kind of gives you, an idea of, some of the traditions that we had. Of course, some of them have changed too. And because I forgot all my other stuff, I did this morning go to Martin Luther King, and we walked to Rose Elementary School. And those middle school kids can walk fast. I had to really, step it up to keep up with them. But it was really nice because when we got to Rose, the first graders were really excited. They're always excited to see the older kids. They are just, so excited to see the older kids, and they read to them and they helped them color. And they were reading books about Ruby Bridges and about walking to school. And I know Martin Luther King wasn't the only school. I think there were two on my sign up there. There were 2 or 3 other schools, but it was really, really good. And it's good to have conversations because walking, you're talking to the kids and, some of them are acting up, but overall, you learn a lot about the kids. And, I know why I didn't want to teach middle school. But it's really good to be around the students and get their ideas and listen to them. But yeah, the walk this morning was really good. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Fleet. Trustee Seibert?
Yes, trustee Fleek and I attended the CTE meeting, and then rest, they presented all the success to the, I guess, what do you call them, the advisors?
Advisors.
That support different pathways. And they had a pathway fair out in what the
Grounds, yeah.
in the grounds that, so they had all the different pathways and the students presenting their products and all the things they were doing. So it was really interesting. It'd be a good one, everybody. It could have been a good one for everybody to go to see what they're doing. And the students were all excited about their pathways and gave us a lot of good information. And they're very proud of their path.
Thank you. Trustee Seibert. Clerk Mendoza?
Oh, no, nothing at this time. Thank you.
Wait, you didn't go nowhere? Thank
Many
you.
places.
Just briefly, I also attended a state of the address of the district, and thank you, Superintendent Lyle, and yes, recognition to the teachers and the staff that were recognized that day, and the students that from Torres, the food that they prepared was nice, and then also the performance of the band was great too. Attended a PAC meeting on November 1st. We had 2 special board meetings already this month, the 2nd and the 7th. And also yesterday I attended DLAC, and trustee Dybert already shared a little bit about that. And so Madtown Robotics was this past weekend, and I was sharing that I think what was more interesting of all was I was helping in the concession stand, and the kids from these other schools, so there was like, 32 schools, but these kids from those schools would come and buy some of the t-shirts of the world champions, and they were so happy to buy a t-shirt, and they were glad they were competing against Madtown. So that was, they were all giddy about it, and there was this one kid kept on coming around, he was just so looking forward to competing. And that was fun, just hearing their enthusiasm. All the kids that were the different schools, they were presenting their different robots. But thank you again for the staff for Toros and all the staff that came out for that weekend. And that's it for myself. So we move to future advanced planning. Thank you, trustees. Advanced planning, the next board meeting is scheduled for December 12, 2023. Suggested future agenda items. Trustees, do you have any items you would like staff to present at the future board meeting? I will start with trustee Ahmad.
Not at this time.
Thank you. Trustee Cortez?
Oh, thank you.
Trustee Dybert?
No, thank you.
Trustee Fleek?
I'd like to see if we could bring back the alma maters to the high schools. And I think Torres doesn't even have an alma mater, do they?
Question.
But I think it's really important because you have that pride. As old as I am, and I've had my 55th class reunion, our class knew the alma mater, and we still do, as old as we are.
Okay,
So I'd like to see it come back because I think it gives you more spirit for your school.
And a sense of pride, huh? Thank you. Trustee Seibert? Thank you. Clerk Mendoza?
Thank you. Nothing at this time.
Okay, nothing for myself at this time. So it is 8:38. It is 8:38, and I adjourn this meeting. Thank you for attending, and good night.